Heat and thermal equilibrium. Let us understand the concept of heat with the help of a day-to-day activity. Place a glass of cold water on one side of a table and a cup of hot coffee on the other side. Initially, compared with room temperature, the coffee is hotter, whereas the water is colder. After some time, both are at the same temperature of the surrounding. In both the cases, heat has to flow so that both bodies acquire the temperature of the surroundings. In case of cold water, heat flows from the surroundings at a higher temperature into the glass, which is at a lower temperature. Whereas in the case of the coffee, the heat flows from coffee, which is at a higher temperature, to the surroundings, which are comparatively at a lower temperature. We can conclude that heat always flows from a body at high temperature to a body at low temperature. Hence, heat is defined as the energy that gets transferred from one object to another because of temperature difference. We know that temperature of a body is nothing but the average kinetic energy of its molecules, known as average molecular kinetic energy. In our illustration, the average molecular kinetic energy of coffee is more than that of the surroundings. The molecules having high kinetic energy collide with those having low kinetic energy. Thus, the average kinetic energy of both becomes the same. In this situation, coffee and the surroundings are said to be in thermal contact with each other. In this process, heat has flowed from coffee to the surroundings. The same phenomenon occurs when a cold water glass is in thermal contact with the surroundings. The average kinetic energy of surrounding air molecules is more, in comparison to that of the water molecules. Due to collision of the air molecules having high kinetic energy with those having low kinetic energy of surrounding air, both average kinetic molecular energies are balanced. Thus, heat flows and the temperature of both becomes the same. This state, when both the bodies in thermal contact possess the same temperature, is called thermal equilibrium. So here, the glass of water and the surroundings are in thermal equilibrium with each other. Imagine a cold metal block which is brought in thermal contact with a heated metal block. Due to the temperature difference, heat flows, and after some time, the average kinetic molecular energy of both the blocks becomes the same. Simultaneously, temperature of both the blocks becomes the same. Now, both the blocks are said to be in thermal equilibrium with each other. Therefore, when objects in thermal contact attain the same temperature, these objects are said to be in thermal equilibrium. There is no heat flow between the objects in thermal equilibrium.